Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining in on this latest COVID-19 update. 3 major changes took effect in Massachusetts this week with regard to coronavirus guidelines. The state moved into the final phase of reopening. Relaxed travel restrictions have taken effect, and outdoor dining returns for most of Boston and for us here locally in Newburyport. The latest reopening phase allows large entertainment and sports venues to reopen and increases gathering limits. Large entertainment and sports venues like the TD Garden and Fenway Park will be able to reopen to fans with 12% capacity restrictions. So, will you be one of the lucky ones in the stands at Fenway Park for Red Sox season opener on Thursday, April 1st? Additionally, gathering limits at event venues and public settings increased to 100 people inside and 150 people outside. Private gathering limits remain at 10 people indoors and 25 people outdoors. Summer camps, exhibitions, and convention halls are also allowed to operate, and weddings and other events can include dance floors. Our outdoor dining initiative started last year to help restaurants survive during the coronavirus pandemic. We are bringing this initiative back with the addition of parklets and expanded spaces for our downtown restaurants. Some of our restaurants will be ready for expanded outdoor dining as soon as next month. Outdoor dining was one of the bright spots last summer and fall, and we look forward to businesses, our residents, and visitors taking advantage of it. Regarding where we are at with the population and vaccine rollout, as of now, Phase 1, comprised mainly healthcare workers and first responders, has been completed. We are currently in Phase 2 with the following currently eligible in priority order: people who are 75 or older, people who are 60 or older, people with 2 or more certain medical conditions, and people who live or work in low-income and affordable senior housing, K-12 educators, K-12 school staff, child care workers, and other certain workers such as our public works employees and grocery workers. On April 5th, people who are 55 or older and people with one certain medical condition will be eligible. If your group is not specifically listed in either Phase 1 or Phase 2, you will be eligible to receive the vaccine in Phase 3, which will launch April 19th, 2021. There's hope that the President's plan to have enough vaccine supply for every adult American by the end of May can happen and give us back the important people and activities in our lives that we have been missing. And to reiterate, there are different ways to find a vaccine appointment. You can pre-register at vaccinesignup.mass.gov to be notified when it's your turn to schedule an appointment at one of the 7 mass vaccination locations. You can also go to vaxfinder.mass.gov to search for appointments at pharmacies, healthcare providers, and other community locations. Individuals without access to the internet or who are unable to pre-register or schedule their appointment online can call toll-free 211 for further assistance. The state also has implemented a homebound vaccination central intake line regarding in-home vaccinations for people who cannot leave their home for a vaccination appointment. Our Council on Aging has worked locally to assist those residents, including our Meals on Wheels consumers. Nevertheless, Massachusetts is still receiving a limited supply of COVID-19 vaccine doses from the federal government. Due to a high demand and very limited supply, it may take several weeks to schedule an appointment or to be notified that an appointment is available at mass vaccination locations. But even with limited vaccine supply as of last week, According to the latest state vaccination report, 35% of Newburyporters have received at least one dose and 18% are fully vaccinated. For our seniors aged 65 or older, 83% have received one dose and 40% are fully vaccinated. This is really encouraging news. There will be more clinics available at the Lower Merrimack Regional Collaborative, and we expect our vaccination numbers to continue to climb. The state has also received guidance from the federal government that the vaccine supply will increase. So hopefully you will all be able to get your appointments soon. Regarding our local collaboratives, clinics being held on the weekends at Amesbury High School, some of the future clinics in April may be dedicated for second dose only vaccine. This Sunday's upcoming clinic filled up quickly. As I mentioned, we hope to see this ease as more of the supply of vaccine is available and allocated. We will post all our appointment links for our regional clinics on the home page of the City of Newburyport site, as well as our health department. You can also go to vaxfinder.gov. It is also very important for all of us to recognize our hundreds of volunteers who are helping to make the clinics a success. Volunteers spanning in age across 7 decades, from high school students to retired nurses, have taken part in the clinics, and they have done an incredible job. We are most appreciative for the work they have done. As the warm weather is arriving and vaccines, thoughts are turning to travel and vacations. A new travel advisory is in effect, which still requires anyone arriving in the state after being elsewhere for more than 24 hours to quarantine for 10 days upon their arrival. However, the advisory highlights this no longer applies to travelers who are fully vaccinated and for those who have a negative COVID-19 test results up to 72 hours prior to arrival in Massachusetts. The next phase of our reopening plans for our schools began this week. The Bresnahan Elementary School students returned to a 4-day model this Monday. The Mullen School follows on March 29th and the Knock Middle School on April 12th. Please check your child's school website for more details. As planned, the schools also expanded their COVID testing to all schools and grades. Over 600 people within the school community were tested, and we are pleased to say they all came back negative. Over 200 student athletes were also tested with the same result. We anticipate more testing in weeks to come as the program is going extremely well, thanks in large part to our nursing team. This tool adds another layer of precaution for our schools and is providing to be really beneficial in helping to get more students back into the classroom. Relating to city business, the city recently received a technical assistance grant from the state through the Rapid Recovery Plan program. This grant will allow us to work towards creating a recovery plan that will help local businesses support a sustainable economic growth strategy post-COVID-19 pandemic, leveraging our local assets within our community. We have also been informed that state and local governments in Massachusetts are set to receive $8.1 billion in federal aid through the American Rescue Plan, which has been signed into law. About $1.3 billion is being allocated for counties to be distributed on a per capita basis. Essex County is one of 8 that does not have its own county government, so this aid will be distributed directly to communities. Newburyport is estimated to receive approximately $5.4 million, and this money will be provided in 2 blocks this year and 2022. And we will be coordinating with the state on all the different streams of funding, which include support for local aid, K-12 education, small businesses, restaurants, information technology, and other needs at the local level. Small business grants up to $10,000 are still available through the Newburyport Amesbury Small Business Relief Grant Program. These grants are available to small business owners to help them continue operations as they recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. They can be used to pay for rent, mortgage, employee wages, technical assistance to help them get back on their feet and adjust to the new normal. You may find these grants at amesburymass.gov. On a positive note, I'd like to recognize our Neighbors Table for their outstanding work during this pandemic crisis. Together with our local communities, they have been able to put more than 1.1 million meals on the tables of more than 5,000 neighbors. Nearly 2,000 neighbors, those who are parents, children, frontline workers, people suddenly without a job, and people barely scraping by, found themselves at their doors for the first time. More than 57% of these new neighbors were faces with children hit hardest by the closures of businesses and schools. Excuse me. I can't thank them enough for their amazing work during these difficult and unprecedented times. Unity, caring, and support perseveres in our communities. Lastly, and sadly, I wish to acknowledge the horrific acts of violence in our country these past few weeks. We condemn the recent deadly attacks in Georgia and grieve with our Asian and Asian American family, friends, and neighbors. And just the day after honoring these victims, our American flags were once again returned to half-staff to pay tribute to the victims of another mass shooting in Colorado. Our hearts are with the people of Colorado and with everyone whose lives have been touched by gun violence. Newburyport stands against hatred and racist violence in all forms. Our DEA Alliance is working to ensure that everyone in Newburyport feels a daily sense of safety, respect, and belonging. You will hear more about our work with the Alliance very soon as we complete training of our members and roll out community conversations. In closing, we are not out of this pandemic, and it is very concerning to learn of new variants of this virus emerging in our state and across the country. It is critical we continue to take precautions with masks and social distancing. I do not want to see our city move backwards as more of the activities we have so missed are starting to reopen. Please help us to continue moving forward. I hope you all stay healthy and well and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.